Shavua Tov everyone, and we are in Parashat Toldot. We can find it in Genesis chapter 25, chapter 25, verse 19. Okay, so what is this parasha about? Just a story. It says Ele Toldot. In the end of the last parasha, we just said farewell to Abraham. He passed away, and then before that, we'll see it's connected. We have the history of Ishmael and about the birth of his 12 presidents. Okay, he has a set system of 12 presidents. Okay, that's how it finished. Okay, in this parasha, verse 19, Ele Toldot Yitzchak. Okay, you can see it as this is the history of Isaac, but there's a catch in this. Hebrew is not English. Okay, what can we do? Ve'ele Toldot, you could find also Ele Toldot Noach, same expression. With the whole discussion about the meaning of the word Toldot, it doesn't mean only history. So we'll come back to it, hopefully. Okay, Ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham, Avraham holid et Yitzchak. Abraham gave birth to Isaac, and then Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebecca as his wife. Okay, and she could not give birth. Okay, now they prayed and they prayed and they prayed. There's a whole thing about praying. This parasha is very strong also about praying for the impossible, and we'll talk about it. Praying for the impossible. And 20 years after they got married, she gave birth. Okay, he was 40 when he was married. He was 60 when he became a father. Okay, when she was pregnant, it was really a tough pregnancy. They were fighting. It was twins. They were fighting with each other. It's a whole big story, and they came out, Yaakov and Esav. Esav comes first, so different from each other. One is so fighty, and and the other one is Jacob. He's a nice guy. Read the story. I'm not going to go into it. And then, as we just go on, then it goes again into Jacob selling or buying the birthright from Esau for a bowl of lentils. Okay? The story is Esau is coming from the field. He's so hungry. He's dying. Jacob is cooking. He's cooking lentils too. And Esau is saying, give me my, feed me with that. And Jacob says, you have to pay for it. It's like, you kidding? You have your brother cooking, you're coming home, and makes you pay? This is terrible. Sounds like. Okay, now we'll skip another story about Isaac going to Gerar, and you have a similar story with the Philistines, like with the Sarah and the Egyptian. I don't want to go into it right now. It's another thing. And then, chapter 27, verse 1. Vayiki zaken Yitzchak, and Isaac is old. Vatichena einav mirot, his eyes cannot see. He calls Esav, his older son. Yeah, they were born a few minutes apart, correct? No, they were born a few seconds apart. As we know, Esav is coming out, and Jacob is coming after him, holding his heel. Okay? Akev in Hebrew is a heel, and Yaakov is the one holding the Akev. Okay? And he says to him, I'm old, I don't know when I'm going to die. Now go hunt for me. You're good in hunting. Bring me and cook for me. You know how I like it. Okay? So Esav is going to the hunt. Rivka is hearing that. She goes to Jacob. What a soap opera. Okay, go. I'm going to bring me those kids from the flock. I'm going to slaughter them. I'm going to make them the stew your father likes, and you are going to get the blessing. And Jacob is coming in, faking his Esav, and he gets the blessing from Isaac. Esav's blessing. Wow. Okay? As Isaac, as the moment, like in a soap opera, the moment Jacob is leaving the room, okay, and Isaac is kind of suspicious. Vasily gives him the blessing, an amazing, beautiful blessing, okay, and the moment that Jacob is leaving, okay, Vayi ach yatzo yatza Yaakov. Okay, verse 30. On the moment just Jacob left, Esau is coming. And he makes goodies, he's making food, he brings to his father, he comes to his father, and he says, Father, get up and eat from the hunt of your son, so you can bless me. And Isaac says, who are you? And he says, I am your firstborn Esau, your son, firstborn Esau. And then it says, verse 33, Vayecharad Yitzchak charada gdola ad meod, and Yitzchak is into a big anxiety. Vayomer, and he says, Mi efu atzat tzayid, who is the one who hunted and brought me the food and I ate before you came? V'avarcheu, and I blessed him. Gam baruch yeh, and he will be blessed. What? What is it? If he's upset about the steal, why he's saying I bless him and he's going to be blessed? This blessing is holding. Kishmo Esav v'divrei aviv, as Esav hears is the word of his father, and he's screaming and he's yelling, bitter, big yell, and he says, bless me also, my father. And Isaac is saying, your brother came, and he, bemirma, how do you translate bemirma? With chittery. And he took your blessing. Oh, what a drama, what a scandal, right in the family, right? And Esau is saying, Father, don't you have a blessing for me? Finally gives him a blessing. Okay? Esau is so hateful now. He took him the birthright. He took him the blessing. By the way, if he bought the birthright, he should have been, Esau should be honest and say to Isaac, look, Dad, you think I'm the first one, but I sold it to Jacob. So I don't know who's cheating over here, right? Because legally, by international law, Esau sold his birthright. He's not the firstborn anymore, right? So Eva was supposed to say to Isaac, Dad, honestly, I don't deserve it. I sold it. I had a weak moment. I sold it. But I sold it. I signed all the papers. I sold it. Legally, I sold it. It's not mine. So who is the thief over there? So why Jacob didn't come and say to his father, Dad, I bought it. It's mine. Bless me. Why didn't Rivka speak to her husband? You're making a mistake. Don't you see who's your son? Esau. What was the whole cheatery about? Okay. Then Rivka hears that Esau wants to kill Jacob. Look what she does. She goes to Isaac and she says to him, look, I can't stand the idea that Esau married some of the locals. It's like, I can't stand the idea. I want to die. She says, Katzti b'chayai. Okay? I mean, I'm fed up of my life. If Jacob is going to marry one of the locals, I'm finished. Why do you need to live anymore? So Isaac calls Jacob and says, you know what? Go to your mother's brother and take one of his daughters as your wife. Okay, so if Rivka wants Isaac to do something, she knows what to do. Why did she talk to him earlier? Okay? So he tells him to go, and then chapter 28, verse 4. Listen to it carefully. Let's start the beginning. Chapter 28 in the number 1. Verse 4 is the punchline. Okay? ויקרא יצחק אל יעקב, and Yitzchak calls Jacob. ויברך אותו, and he blesses him. He doesn't say like, how dare you cheat your father? No, he says he blesses him. And he orders him, go, don't take any woman of the Canaanites. Kum lech Padan Aram, go to Padan Aram. Beita Betuel avi imecha, to the house of Betuel, the father of your mother. Kach lecha misha misha, and take a wife from the daughters of Lavan, the brother of your mother. Ve'el Shaddai yevarech otcha, and Kel Shaddai will bless you. Ve'yafrecha will make you fruitful. Ve'yarbeka, and will multiply. V'hayita likala mimen, you will become a commonwealth of nations. Verse 4, the punchline, V'yiten lecha et birkat Avraham lecha u'zaracha itach lerishtecha et eretz vegurecha shenatan Elohim laAvraham. And he will give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your offsprings, with you, to inherit the land that you live, the land that God gave to Abraham. What? When he was blessing Esau, and it was Jacob, he was blessing Jacob, but he was thinking he was blessing Esau. He didn't give him the blessing of Abraham. He didn't give him the land. He never thought that Esau is the one. He didn't make a big deal that Esau didn't marry in the family. So he never thought that Esau is getting the birthright. He never thought that Esau will continue the vision. So why did Rivka have to cheat him? Why the whole thing? He never thought that Jacob is not getting the land and Abraham's blessing. Okay? How do we figure that out? Like, okay, it's not the way that they teach. I just read you the text. You can read it yourself. Get the book. Don't you have the book? It's a best-selling book. You should have it in the house. Okay? If you don't, you can just get it online. Now, Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham, and here are, so Ve'ele Toldot. What is Ve'ele Toldot? We spoke about Noach. Ve'ele Toldot Noach. How did Noach survive and leave a legacy? Because he lived a life with meaning. He was really loyal to his principles and values. He was living a godly life, and he didn't care for the price. Therefore, there was a legacy to be left behind. A lot of people think the legacy is, I'm living in a house, few cars, maybe a house in the country, maybe a penthouse in Manhattan to my kids. That's a legacy. No, that's not a legacy. It doesn't stay. And again, not just it doesn't stay, it doesn't make you feel that you're rich. How many rich people did I meet who were so poor? Because it was never enough. It's never enough because it doesn't fulfill your soul. Physical material cannot fulfill your soul. Physical material is something that is great to have. If you got it, if you work for it, you got it, and you have, why not? Even if you got an inheritance, why not? The question is, if you think that that's what's going to give you the fulfillment, you're so miserable. So poor. That's poverty, real poverty. Okay? Noach had a legacy. It was his values. He fought for it. The whole world was against him, and he fought for it, and he won. They are gone, and we are his descendants. His values still are with us. The values of his generation, here and there, people are still trying to hold on to it. It doesn't linger. Same thing when we're talking about Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak. Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak. Yitzchak, again, what do you leave behind you? Toldot means outcomes, fruits. real fruits of your life is if you go on a spiritual way, if you really live that life, okay? And without, without making a joke out of it. My spare time, no, it's not your spare time. Come and read the Zohar, so we can understand what this parasha is all about. There's one of the most amazing Zohar articles about this, and that's verse number 3 in the Zohar, Asulam, Perush Asulam of Rabbi Ashlag. Tachazi, I'm first reading the Zohar itself for the connection to, the words of the Zohar. כל מאן דהשתדל באורייתא יהיו קיים עלמא. וקיים כל עבדיו עבדה על תיקוני כדקאיות. ולית לך כל שייפה ושייפה דקיימא וי דברנש. דלהווה לכבלי בריה בעלמא. דהה כמה דברנש יהיו מתפלג שייפין. וכולו קיימין דרגין על דרגין, מתקנין אילן על אילן. וכולו חד גופה, הכן נמי עלמא. כל אינון בריאן כולו שייפין שייפין וקיימין אילן על אילן. ואחד מתקנן כולו, הגופה ממש, וכולה בכגבנה דאורייתא. והאורייתא כולה שייפין ופרקין וקיימין אילן על אילן, וכד מתקנן כולו, יתבידו חד גופה, כיוון דסקל דוד בעבודתה, פתח ואמר רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית מלאה הארץ קנייניך. Translation. Come and see. Whoever is doing the Torah his business, osek batorah. Osek comes from the word esek. Esek means a business. What does it mean? When somebody is doing a business, he's really a business person, okay? He's consumed with that. Which means everything he hears, sees, reminds him his business. He's so much into it, he's thinking, he's sleeping, dreaming about it. It's all the ideas of how to give birth to that, what's going on. But, there's two kinds of business in a person's life. One is the career that you do in order to make a living, and one is the career that you are living for, right? What does it mean, two careers? The one you're living for is your legacy. What kind of a person have you become? What kind of values did you leave for the world after you've gone? What kind of values you presented living on this earth? If you don't make it as your business, forget it. You're never going to be the person you're supposed to become. You're never. Why? Because becoming a better person never gets easy. It's not like buying a ticket for the lottery. Everybody knows that in order to become a better person, you have to put a lot of effort. For a person to get out of his customs, habits, whatever you call it, you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to invest a lot of work into it. It's never easy. Getting out of the box, is that easy? That's the hardest thing in the world. Whoever just tried to change his diet, simple as that. I'm not speaking about, becoming a better husband, a better wife. I'm not saying that you think you're a better husband, that your wife thinks you're a better husband. I'm not thinking it's about you thinking you're a better wife, that your husband thinks that you're a better wife, and your kids approve of it. Okay? What? The best critics we have, are the people closest to us, right? Mm-hmm. And becoming the person that deep inside, when you say, are you really happy with yourself? Try to do that. Are you really happy with yourself? With yourself? With who you are? Don't you like to become better? If you ask yourself a few times, just, relax, meditate, and ask yourself, who's the person I want to become? It's not going to be easy. And that's why the Torah is a business. This is your business, to become the person you want to become. We know very well when we are winning, in that race of becoming better in something, more patient, more loving, more caring, more assertive, less victim, whatever. There's no victory like this. There's no gain like this, because that's really creating what we're supposed to create. Okay? If you don't deal with that like you deal with a business, forget it, it's not going to happen. Yeah, but I tried. Hello? Ethics of the Father says, if you tried, you didn't make it, you didn't try hard enough. Okay? Go on and move it. But yeah, but circumstances. No. Move it. Very simple. So the same thing in business. But I try to make money. You know, you don't make money by trying. You make money. And making money is really hard work, right? I'm not saying like once in, you know, cheating and once in a while. You know, just making a living. That it will be a living. Boy, okay? So whoever is making the Torah his business, which means his spiritual, mental, soul growth, okay? Developing not just his EQ, emotional qualities, but also his SQ, his spiritual qualities. Hu mekayem ha'olam, he makes the world, he gives the world a reason to exist. Because it's the purpose of the world to exist. Okay? And not just this, by a person doing his duty, his spiritual duty, when a person doing that properly, you know what happens? When you know what happens? Every action in the world, every function, that's a better word, translation, every function of the world is better. Function? What about global warming? Don't you know that global warming is connected directly to greed? Don't you know that? Don't you know that global warming is connected directly to people, you know, simply being there for others? The whole thing about it, about pollution, you just call it whatever you want. The world doesn't function well when we are not overcoming our negativity. So how could I make the world better? Just, the Zohar says, first of all, overcome your own greed. First of all, becoming a better person. First of all, do your job as a human being and do your Torah as a business of becoming the person you're supposed to become. And there's no organ in a human being that is not related to one creature in the world. I didn't say, by the way, the list. Which organ connects to which? Right. Okay? Because the way that the human body is made of many, many tissues, organs, structures, functions, all of them are standing levels on levels. It's all a very wise combination of different functions, okay, that are built one upon each other, but all of them are one body. The same way, the world, the whole world and all the creatures in this world, all of them are organs of the world. And all of them are dependent on each other. And when all of them get together to function as one body, okay, then the whole world will become finally functional as one. Okay? We know animals usually and plants usually do it okay. The ones who simply refuse doing it more and more, they are the humans. Because, you know, as I said many times, you take the humans out, the world is, you know, things are getting better. But the moment we bring humans in, mess comes in. And the same way is the Torah, because the Torah is also built of different parts, different chapters, and different parashot. And all of them depend on each other, and they support each other. No one can stand alone. And when all of them are being understood properly and they are corrected properly, they become into one body. It's like, wow, I get it. That's how it works. When King David saw that action, how everything is connected, he opened and said, Marabu ma'asecha Hashem. How great are your actions, God. All of them you made in Chokhmah. Okay? This is so Psalms 104. The whole earth is full of your actions. Okay, poor translation. That's on the topic. Okay. So why the Zohar is starting with it? So let's see. Because he's saying, just a second, he's saying, Ele Toldot Yitzchak. These are the outcomes of Yitzchak. These are the fruits of Yitzchak. Yitzchak didn't have it easy. He didn't have it easy. You know, just being 60 when you have your first children. Okay, Abraham, his father had it when he was 99, when he was 100. But still, it's a... Okay, you understand it. And being almost sacrificed, just, you know, one little second he will already be dead. And there's a whole story about it too, that was very hard for Isaac, because when he was the altar and Abraham was cutting his throat, Isaac said, okay, if that's what my dad wants me. It's like, he knows what he's doing. I'm going. Bye. He was going to heaven. And he went. And then Abraham is like, the angel comes and says to Abraham, don't touch the lad. Which means, you don't understand? He can't just be right column. You need to also have left column. Gvura. Binding him is enough. But, and also being ready to slaughter him is enough. You know, when are you ready to listen? Are we really listening when we are not ready to let go of what we are holding on? Any kind of an opinion or an idea? Somebody says, I have another opinion. Are you willing to listen? Most of us don't listen. Yeah. Says, you already like finished him before he even open his mouth. That's not binding your Isaac. In order to be able to listen to something new, you have to be able to be ready to slaughter the old you. Correct? That's not easy. People don't do it quite often. Correct? Or they don't. But you don't grow otherwise if you're not ready to do that. The legend says that Isaac already went to heaven. The angel says to Abraham, don't don't touch the lad. And Abraham is like, the guy's in a coma already. He's not here. Isaac, come back. And Isaac is already there in heaven. He's like, what? Dad? Are you serious? Coming back to what? Chewing food again? Being in a physical deaf and blind body again? I thought I got rid of it. I was so happy. You want me coming back? It says that it took 3 years for Isaac to get used to the idea he needs to come back into a physical body. 3 years. He couldn't get the idea. He was so happy going. He wasn't ready. For himself, he was ready. By the way, you know, if you want to know, the big fun is there, not here. Here the fun is overcoming darkness. But Isaac already overcame all the darkness possible. He didn't, there was no need anymore. Okay? So you want to compare, says the Zohar, because few verses earlier, we just said, Ele Toldot Ishmael. just where was it? אלה תולדות ישמעאל.
I was in Kabbalah. And I'll have to come out.
Where is it? Chapter 25, verse 12. אלה תולדות ישמעאל בן אברהם. These are the generations or the outcomes of Ishmael, the son of Abraham. So if he said, אלה תולדות for Ishmael, but Ishmael is not known as a righteous person, although it says he did tshuva, right? And also it speaks about his life, that he lived. אלה שני חיי Ishmael. He also lived in the two worlds. שני, like שני חיי שרה, שני חיי Ishmael, verse 17, 100 שנה, 30 שנה, 7 שנים, like it says about Sarah, right? But comparing, says the Zohar like this. Come and see. למעלה כתוב, verse 6. למעלה כתוב, before it says, אלה תולדות ישמעאל, שהם 12 נשיאים. What were they? 12 presidents. Okay? נשיאים. נשיא is not a president. נשיא is a uplifted person. Okay? That's in Hebrew is being used for a president. אחר כך, because he's lifted above the nation. Right?
Yeah.
But then it says, אלה תולדות יצחק. יעלה על דעתך כיוון שכתוב בישמעאל שליט 12 נשיאים. You would think. It says about Ishmael he had 12 נשיאים. Yitzchak had 2 only. And that means that Ishmael was more righteous than Yitzchak. So, even maybe Yitzchak was not, it doesn't count. Because he had only 2. Okay? But Yitzchak, he gave birth to Jacob. And Jacob was more important than all of them because he had 12 tribes. But just a second. Esau also, we'll read later on, he had 12 generals, alufim. Okay, that's Esau. Esau is the left column. You understand what the Zohar is saying? Think about it. Ishmael 12, Esau 12, Jacob 12. We have a perfect system of the world. It is made of system. If you know what it means, organs upon organs, shapes upon shapes, structures upon structures. If you learn modern math, it's called fractals. There are systems in this world that are like, you start from one shape and then you multiply, and you build on it till when you see big shapes functioning, but you know deep inside it is same structures everywhere. Every creature has DNA. Every DNA has A, C, T, AC has T and G. Every creature has proteins that are made of amino acids. It has, carbohydrates, all of that. We all build the same building blocks. Did you ever see a snowflake? It's made of a little, when water starts to freeze, they create hexagons. And when these hexagons build upon each other, they start to create those shapes that look like snowflakes, but there's no two snowflakes, so the same, but they're built on the same original structure. And you see the same structures grow everywhere you touch, but it's starting from the same thing. Okay? So what is 12? 12 is Youdkevitch, divided into the right, left, and center of each one of them. A complete structure is 12. Nature is made of modern physics. Okay, 40 years already. Okay? Of how many? 12 particles. 12 original particles that are divided into 4 groups. Okay? That's how it is. So everything is just the same, it's the same rhythm everywhere. So do you want to say that Ishmael doesn't belong, so why the Torah talks about it? Do you want to say that Esau does not belong to the system? Why the Torah talks about him? 12, it's like there's a system. Okay? But you're saying, but Abraham, he didn't have 12. You didn't even talk about Abraham. He had Isaac and Ishmael. Okay? So what about Abraham? He's less than the others. The Zohar said last week's parasha, and we read about it, that when a person is being judged in moments of test, okay, he's being judged for the good stuff he did and the bad stuff he did. But he's also being judged about the good stuff he's going to do. But not about the bad stuff he's going to do. Okay? Which means, you're speaking about offsprings, outcomes. It says, there's a verse in Isaiah 26, Beit Yaakov asher pada et Avraham. The house of Jacob who redeemed Abraham. When Abraham walked through the fire, he wasn't circumcised yet. He didn't know yet about where is the promised land. He didn't have the covenant with God yet. He was saved because it was coming. But what really saved him from the fire was Jacob. That's what it says in Isaiah. How could Jacob? He was not born even. Ele Toldot. Jacob is a legacy of Abraham. When Jacob was born, he was already circumcised. When Jacob was born, because his father was circumcised 8 days old. His father circumcised him 8 days old. He didn't have to look for it. Abraham already, it says, the Psalms, I raise my eyes to the mountains, from where my help is going to come. And as well says, who are the mountains? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We were born on these mountains. We don't have to climb them. We were born on these mountains. So Abraham, when he was thrown into the fire, how many marriages did he have? He was not, having guests yet. What kind of marriage did he have? Jacob. It was coming. Okay? Which means your fruits, that on your fruits, more stuff is growing, is also yours. Fighting for your principles, for your values, for your honor, for your truth. But the Zohar says, what about these people? But I don't know what's the truth. What would I do? I'll sit over here, and when I know the truth, I'll act upon it. And the Zohar says, who do you think you are that you're supposed to know was the truth? What did you do for that? You have to choose the truth and fight for it the way you understand it. And as you fight for it, you will earn a higher level of understanding the truth. Now you fight for that. Do you think this is the whole truth? Nothing but the truth? No, it's all relative. But you fight for that too, like it is the only existing truth. That was the legacy of Abraham. That was the legacy of Abraham. Abraham, he believed it's only chesed and giving. His big miracle was when he was going to slaughter Isaac. And he realized that he needs also gevurah. The world cannot live just on giving. You need also judgment. You need also to overcome the negativity by, counter negativity. Say, no, enough is enough. I'm going to be a better person, and I have a big ego about it. And this ego is good. Without this ego, you go nowhere. And I'll fight for it. I'll do everything needed to achieve my truth. So Abraham achieves that truth. Yes, he's chesed, but there's a space for gvura. His loving kindness, his giving, but there's space for judgment. That's why when Abraham goes to the mount to bind Isaac, he takes the fire and the knife. Fire is judgment, the element that represents judgment, and the knife also represents judgment. That's why we don't have knives on the table when we bless after the food, because we don't have to put judgment on the table. Okay? Was Isaac everything? No. He was developing the judgment. He was developing it the right way, but that came to perfection only with Jacob. Could Jacob do that without Abraham and Isaac? No. No, possible. Only when Jacob come, Titen emet leYaakov, you give the truth to Jacob. Why? What's the truth? When you can see with one eye, chesed, and with another eye, gvura, and you know what? You don't see two pictures. Hopefully. If you put your finger over here, how many fingers do you see? If you close one eye, one finger, the other eye, but each eye sees another picture. Try it. If you open two eyes, they don't argue who is right, because that's Jacob energy. Okay, that's the truth. Both, to see from all directions, to see how everything comes together. That's the truth. Okay? And that's why, when you want to test somebody if he's drunk, go on the straight line. If he has no Jacob, when he goes right, Abraham, he goes all the way right. He sails to the right. And then he has to go left, so he sails all the way to the left. And then right and left and right and left. He's drunk. When you have Jacob, which means you know how to balance, you use right and left, but you keep going forwards. Okay? Now, let's go back to the Zohar. And the Zohar says, and the Zohar explains, so we understand that three different concepts being explained by the Torah. One, the Jacob is the existence of above and below. Above and below. Because Jacob was the one who learned and left us the legacy how to take the divine, the spirituality, and apply it in here, this world. How to be honest in business and be spiritual at the same time. Make money, spend money, and be balanced. That's Jacob. That's above and below. Okay? That's number one. Two, Yitzchak rak lemala b'kedusha alina. Yitzchak was only above. Because when he was slaughtered by Abraham, he gave up his physical body. He was only there above. Remember when we learned about Noach? Noach, Abraham, Jacob. But not Isaac. Isaac gave up the physical. Isaac was connecting up above. It was the only way. And the third division is an Ishmael below. Ishmael is not just, it's the cousin I don't want to talk to. And nobody in family does speak about. Ishmael is below. Each one takes a place in the story of Abraham's so-called dysfunctional family. It's not. Each one takes the exact place in the universe for the universe to become one. The universe is not one without Abraham and Sarah. It's not one without Isaac and Rivka. It's not one without Yaakov and Leah and Rachel, but it's not one also without Ishmael, and it's not one without Esau. Each one of them represents part of this universe that we are part of, and everything of that is represented inside each one of us. Okay? This is the lesson of this parasha. Okay? So now we can understand the story about the blessings. So who is? Okay? It's very simple. It says, when a couple is making love, in order to bring a child, their thoughts in that moment, emotions, ideas, consciousness, all of that creates an imprint that creates a code, multi-dimensional code that pulls in a soul. If the couple did not create a code that fits to any soul, there won't be any pregnancy. Okay? How many couples try to get pregnant? Nobody comes in. The doctor says, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with you guys. Everything is okay. We checked you, you checked you, everything is okay. He simply didn't dial the right code. Okay? Isaac, he wanted to bring to the world, his father Abraham brought him as left column. He needed to bring to the world central column. But central column says that Zohar has two aspects. It has harsh judgment and lenient judgment. It starts with the harsh judgment and then it comes into lenient. It's like, what do I mean harsh judgment? If you want to be in central column and balance, do you think that balance is just like this? This is balance? Balance needs a lot of strength, a lot of breaks. As you know, a healthy society has checks and balances. That means a lot of assertivity by those and those and those, and each side, everybody pulls to his, but together it goes forwards. That's a healthy society. Okay? If one of the sides, a few of the sides becoming too like, everything is good, everything is nice, somebody takes over and it becomes a dictatorship, which means goes out of balance. Dictatorships have a very, very infamous way to kill itself, to kill themselves. They cave in. And if not, somebody destroys them, but they will cave in even without enemies. Dictatorships don't need enemies to cave in and destroy themselves. It's a self-destructive mechanism. Why? It's against the way the world is structured. Only one side becomes dominant. Nobody can function. Nobody can function only according to the dictator. He dictates. That's not a norm. That's a sick society. Okay, if only one person dictates the rules and the interpretation of the rules without argument, without free, open market of ideas. Okay, so central column needs judgment. Healthy judgment, what does it mean? I know what's wrong, I know what's right. You know what? But two people, if you put them together, they don't have the same rights and wrongs. But when they discuss it, they come out with something. That's called brainstorming, listening to each other. Husband and wife, partners in a business, people in a community. Without that, it's known there's no wisdom. Wisdom is shut down. Only when people really dare to say, you need judgment. Judgment means I have the ego, and it's a good ego, to say what I feel. You know what? Let's talk about it. You think I'm wrong? Let's talk about it. And let's vote, and let's... How we get it to come out. Okay? So inside the central column, there's two aspects of judgment. And they come out. The two aspects of ego. They come out. The first one who came out was Esau. And the second one was Jacob. Okay? Esau came out as a judgment without any sweetening. Jacob came out the judgment with the chesed. In synthesis, one is called the evil inclination in each one of us, or the bad ego, and one is called the balance, central column, the good inclination, which is the good ego. Okay? And they are fighting since they were born, since before. Why? That's the nature of this world. Now, in the first round, there was a first round, and Jacob and Isaac are not the first. Jacob and Esau are not the first round. The first round was in chapter 2 in Genesis. Adam and Eve, and then comes the snake. Who's the snake? Did you ever talk to a snake?
Nope.
And they answered you? Have you been approached by a snake? Huh? No. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the snake is that aspect in every person which is the desire to receive for the self alone. We all have it because we have a desire to receive. That's the harsh judgment. When you let that to run the business is over. Oh, in the beginning it looks great. Why? You take whatever you want, you do whatever you want. You are the, the bad guy, and everybody's afraid of you, and nobody wants to tell you what's, because everybody wants to go on with their life, and they don't want you to mess up their life. So, you want, take the cookie, take this, that, just shut up. Right? And you get it the way, get it your way. Like the Nazis in Europe. They wanted Austria. Take Austria. They wanted Czechoslovakia. Take Czechoslovakia. Finally, it was like too much. It was too late. Because nobody said to them, no. In the beginning. Okay? But that's what happens with the bad guys.
Yeah.
You want to play golf. You don't want to fight against the Nazis or against anybody. And the whole world is like divided into the ones who want to play golf, have a good life, raise the kids, and so on. And the guys are saying, but guys, if we let those terrible dictators to continue flourish, they'll come and take your golf courses. Take your kids to be their slaves. Nah, it's going to take time. Meanwhile, I have to serve lunch. What are you talking about? That's how the world is built. But you think that Esav is only in North Korea? You kidding? Because in this world, Eve ate from the fruit and gave it to her husband. And the snake became he took the birthright. So you look around everywhere, in every system that is running our life, and you're asking yourself, who is in control? The Esavs or the Jacobs? The desire to receive for the self alone, the greediness and the hunger for power, and without any sharing, desire to receive for the self alone? Oh, the people are balanced and they really care for everyone. Huh? In politics, I'm not talking about North Korea. I'm not talking about Venezuela. I'm talking about every place you live that you think it's maybe a free country. Who's running? Who's running business? Who's running Wall Street? Who's running the world economy? Who's running politics? Nice guys that really care for everyone. Who's running the UN? People really care for world harmony and peace. Who are you kidding? Esav is running the world. He has the birthright till the time comes for that to change. Do you think that Isaac was blind? Yeah, he was blind to the physical world, but in the spiritual world, he could see more than anyone else. He knew what does he have. And he knew that Esav has the birthright. Who comes first? You know what it is. First in, first out.
Yeah.
Who comes first? That's Esav. He came out first. That was his thing. He came first. In that case, it was, first in, last out. Jacob was last because he came in first. But there's a long argument about it, and I won't go into it. Because Jacob was fixing the tikkun of Adam and Eve. Okay? And that's why he had to steal the birthright. He had to connive Esav to sell him the birthright. And you know what says Rabbi Ashlag? You look at every society. Yeah, who's running the society? The Esavs. But who makes the society fruitful and grow? The Jacobs. Who's really getting up in the morning and really goes to work? Who's really making it move? In every company, in every society, is the honest people that really want to make it work, and they really care. And as long as they are the majority, the society is thriving, although the ones who are running it. And they use the innocence, Yaakov Ishtam, innocent. They use the innocence of those honest people who work hard, and they really mean well. They got up early in the morning. They have values. They're honest. That's why there are fruits. That's why there's richness, and there's something to eat because of their hard labor. They are the ones who build society. They are the main thing of society. But if they are being exploited too much, they give up. They don't want to work anymore. Says Rabbi, like, look at the Soviet Union. That was 1930. How long do you think the honest, good people of the Soviet Union will continue work knowing everything is stolen? And they get nothing for that. How long? Before the whole economy will collapse, and that's how the Soviet Union will collapse. It took 60 years, but it did collapse the way he said. Every society works on that deal. You know what? We understand you steal, you're cheating, not too much. But the moment the honest people, the Jacob people, don't believe anymore that that was a right deal, they don't chip in anymore. And then Venezuela was the richest country almost in the world not long ago. The moment you realize this is not honest, nobody cares to make the collective, the country, the society successful, or the company, in every company. So who is in charge always? The Esavs. They come first. That's our punishment since the sin of Adam. Okay? And that's why we understand why Isaac gives the blessing of, power to Esau. But he doesn't give him the blessing of Abraham, because he doesn't think, even for a second, that Esau can carry the message. He doesn't understand the message. His job is to be the test for the people who want to be honest. To be honest, it's not, to be honest, to keep the values when it's easy. This is nothing. The thing is to do it when you have a world that touches all the time and irritates your personal Esau. It's enough to be good. I'm going to be evil from now on. I think every person has that moment once inside. Look about these guys. They have no values. They just step on everyone and everybody fears them. Why shouldn't I become like them? Oh, you can. Without the Torah, forget it. You're finished before the deal even started. How many people started nice and honest in business and then find themselves in jail, or just worse than that, they were never caught. They're just corrupt and they die, rotten.
Right.
That happens. The message is this parasha, that even the bad guys in our life have a job. Because how would you get the diamond out if not by polishing it? You need to polish it with something. And that's the fight. That's how you get in. And you have to understand, yeah, but I'm saying the truth. Nobody cares for the truth, my love. Nobody cares for the truth. You have to achieve your truth with hard work. It's not going to come easy. And you're going to realize that the truth has many layers and many angles. And you have to learn that many times you don't say all the truth and nothing but the truth, because in business, because people will exploit you. And sometimes you have to go undercover, like Jacob. Sometimes you have to take the birthright, just like this, like Jacob is taking from Esau. Because why Esau is so tired? Because Esau is always tired. Because it's never enough. As those people, it's always more money, more drugs, more excitement, whatever. Nothing spiritual. You're always tired. Without the Jacob, you'll be dead. You need Jacob to be alive. Every society, but you know what? Even in ourselves, we have our Esau. He's dead without the Jacob. That part that still has the ability to connect to the light once in a while. And you know, when the moment comes, the Jacob has to say, you have to sell your birthright if you want me to sustain you. Let's have this kind of a balance. You know, you get something. I'm not killing you. But you have to realize, without me, you're not alive. Okay? You know, that could be the equilibrium between people, different section, the same society. Mm-hmm. You can't just, you know, you want to go and eliminate it, all the evil guys. That's how communism started. You know how many they killed? More than 100 millions. You know what? There were no evil people left in Russia anymore, you know? I'm kidding. It doesn't work this way. What about the French Revolution? How many heads did they take off till they realize it's not helping? What about the power hunger? That you start with a Jacob and you finish as an Esau, because power corrupts. You have to understand that. And therefore, when Isaac says to Esau, your brother cheated you and took your blessing, he will be blessed. He was relieved. I almost gave the blessing to Esau, but you know what? Jacob was outsmarted me even. And that's a lesson for all of us. You always have to be the Jacob wherever you are. Then there are fruits to your life. Yeah, there are Esau's. They will destroy themselves sooner or later. They need you to exist. But you can't tell them that this is straight. You have to negotiate. You have to realize also inside yourself, you always have the evil inclination. And it's always a fight. And the moment you think you finish with the evil inclination,
here it comes.
No. It's the evil inclination that thinks so. You know those people? I already finished my tikkun. I'm perfect. I just came to help other people. You have to be afraid of these people more than anyone else, because they have no sense of any, boundaries. Got it? It's a big work. Everybody, everything has a place in it. Our job is to find our own truth by working with the Torah and applying it and fighting for it and becoming better and better and better. And that's how we get finally the blessing of Abraham. The promised land, the holy land, living in a place of holiness, living in a home of holiness, living in a business of, living a life that is complete. It's there. But everything around, even the stuff, you say, God, why do you need it in the world? It's disturbing. No, it's part of the system. That's how you become good. By fighting the evil. By just how you learn your abilities. That's how you learn to become assertive. Because, as we said, Chandra Kalam is also about saying no. Shavua Tov. Good luck.